Behind the veil, unraveling the Mumbai 26/11 terror attacks the night Mumbai burned. Picture this, a bustling metropolis alive with the hum of millions, suddenly frozen in terror. On November 26, 2008, Mumbai, India's glittering financial capital, became the stage for one of the most audacious terrorist attacks in modern history.
10 men armed to the teeth slipped into the city like shadows, their mission to unleash chaos, to strike fear, to hold a nation hostage for 4 relentless days.
Who were these men? How did they pull off a siege that gripped the world's attention, broadcast live like a twisted reality show? And what dark forces lurked behind their deadly plot? Buckle up, because we're diving deep into the heart of the Mumbai 26/11 attacks, a story of terror, bravery, and unanswered questions that still haunt us today.
The strike, a city under siege, it began with the sea.
On that fateful night, 10 terrorists from the Pakistan-based militant group Lashkar-e-Taiba, LET, landed on Mumbai's shores, arriving by inflatable speedboats after hijacking an Indian fishing vessel.
Their targets were meticulously chosen: the iconic Taj Mahal Palace Hotel, the Oberoi Trident Hotel, the Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus, CST railway station, a popular cafe, and the Nariman House, a Jewish community centre. These weren't random hits, they were symbols of Mumbai's diversity, its wealth, its openness to the world. The terrorists, heavily armed with AK-47s, grenades and explosives, struck with chilling precision. At the CST, one of the world's busiest train stations, 2 gunmen opened fire on commuters, turning a chaotic hub into a blood-soaked battlefield. 58 people died there alone, with bodies strewn across the platform as panicked screams echoed through the night. At the Taj, flames and gunfire tore through the opulent halls, trapping guests and staff in a nightmare that would last days. The attackers weren't just killers, they were performers, staging a spectacle of terror for a global audience glued to their screens.
What makes this attack so chilling? The sheer audacity. These 10 men, trained in secret camps, coordinated their assault with military precision, using satellite phones and GPS to stay connected to their handlers in Pakistan. They weren't suicide bombers looking for a quick exit. They were prepared to fight, to prolong the agony, to maximize the fear. For 60 hours, Mumbai was a war zone, and the world watched, helpless, the puppet masters, Lashkar-e-Taiba. Who orchestrated this carnage? The trail leads to Lashkar-e-Taiba, a militant group with deep ties to Pakistan's shadowy underworld. Founded in the 1980s, LET's stated goal was jihad against India, particularly over the disputed Kashmir region. But 26/11 was no ordinary operation. It was their magnum opus, a meticulously planned assault designed to humiliate India and flex their power on the global stage. The mastermind, that's operational chief Zaki-ur-Rehman allegedly oversaw the training and logistics. The attackers, young men radicalized and drilled in LET camps, were handpicked for their mission. They weren't just brainwashed foot soldiers, they were trained in urban warfare, explosives, and even hostage-taking, turning them into killing machines. Intercepted communications revealed a chilling detail. Their handlers in Pakistan were directing the attacks in real time like directors of a gruesome film, barking orders as the chaos unfolded. But here's where it gets murky. Allegations have swirled for years that elements within Pakistan's intelligence services, the ISI, may have known about or even supported the plot. Declassified documents and survivor accounts point to a web of complicity, but definitive proof remains elusive. Could a rogue faction have greenlit this operation? Or was LET acting alone, emboldened by a toxic mix of ideology and opportunity? The truth lies behind a veil we're still struggling to lift. Heroes in the chaos amid the horror, stories of courage emerged. At the Taj, staff members risked their lives to guide guests to safety, some shielding strangers from bullets. At CST, a railway announcer's quick thinking saved countless lives by redirecting passengers away from the gunfire. And then there was the Indian police, undertrained and outgunned, who charged into the fray. One name stands out: Tukaram Omble, a constable who tackled a terrorist barehanded, sacrificing his life to capture Ajmal Kasab, the only attacker taken alive. Kasab's capture was a turning point. The 21-year-old Pakistani revealed chilling details under interrogation: the training camps, the handlers, the promise of martyrdom. His testimony peeled back the curtain on LET's operations, but it also raised questions that linger to this day. Why was Kasab, a small-time criminal, chosen for such a high-stakes mission? And what secrets did he take to his grave when he was executed in 2012? A subtle nudge to join the journey. If you're as gripped by this story as we are, there's so much more to uncover. At Behind the Veil Truths, we dig into the world's darkest mysteries, from terror plots to unsolved conspiracies, peeling back the layers to reveal what's really going on. Hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel at Behind Veiled Truths and join us as we chase the truth, one thrilling story at a time. The global stage, a new kind of terror. What set 26/11 apart wasn't just the body count, 175 dead, over 300 injured, but its global impact. The attackers targeted foreigners, particularly Westerners and Jews, at the Taj, Oberoi and Nariman house, signalling a broader agenda. The siege of Nariman house, where 6 hostages, including a rabbi and his pregnant wife, were brutally murdered, sent shockwaves through the international Jewish community. This wasn't just an attack on India, it was a message to the world. The live media coverage amplified the terror. Cameras captured every explosion, every standoff, turning the attackers into twisted celebrities. Their handlers, watching the same broadcasts, adjusted their tactics on the fly. It was a new kind of terrorism, a spectacle designed for maximum psychological impact, exploiting the 24/7 news cycle to paralyze a nation and captivate the world. The aftermath was just as dramatic. India's security apparatus faced scathing criticism for its slow response and lack of coordination. Elite commandos took hours to arrive and local police were woefully unprepared. The attack exposed vulnerabilities in India's defences, sparking reforms but also fueling tensions with Pakistan. Diplomatic relations teetered on the brink of collapse, with India demanding action against LET and its backers. Pakistan arrested Lakhvi, but his release on bail in 2015 reignited accusations of complicity. The unanswered questions: why Mumbai? Why 2008? Some theorize the attack was timed to destabilize India's booming economy and growing global influence. Others point to the upcoming US presidential transition, a moment of global distraction. Then there's the question of justice. While Kasab was executed, many of the attack's architects remain free or untouchable. Lakhvi, for instance, has slipped in and out of custody, a ghost in the machine of international politics. And what of the survivors? The scars of 26/11 run deep. Families mourn loved ones, while those who escaped the Taj or CST still grapple with trauma. Mumbai rebuilt, but the city's psyche was forever changed. The attack wasn't just a physical assault, it was a wound to the soul of a nation. The story continues. The Mumbai 26/11 attacks weren't just a tragedy, they were a wake-up call, a reminder that terror can strike anywhere, anytime. But they also showed humanity's resilience, the bravery of ordinary people, the resolve of a city that refused to break. Yet the shadows of that night linger. Who else knew? What else was planned? And could it happen again? Behind the veiled truths, we're not done digging. There are more secrets to uncover, more stories to tell. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Behind Veiled Truths and join us as we chase the next clue, unravel the next mystery, and shine a light into the darkest corners of history. The truth is out there, let's find it together.